Hey guys, Joey here again. Today I thought I'd show you guys how I've been cutting my acrylic or plexiglass. It both basically cuts the same at smaller thicknesses. This will work for acrylic up to about 6 millimeter. After that, you're going to need a saw of some sort, however you like to cut it. But if you'd like to just make some quick cuts, especially if it's for something like converting a glass aquarium into a sump, and you need some baffles or different compartments, and you want to use acrylic, this is a lot easier to cut than it is glass. So here's just a scrap piece of acrylic. Like I said, this is actually 4.5 millimeter. Tools you'll need just to make a basic cut is an acrylic cutting tool. Basically that's all it is. Just a small blade. What you do here is you're not cutting it. Let's see if I can get an angle on it. You're not going to be cutting it like this. I don't know if you can even see that. Okay, yeah, you're not going to be cutting it like this. You're going to be dragging it with the put a 90-degree angle so the blade is actually lifted. You just want the edge in it. I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. Another thing you'll need is just a straight edge. I use just a level most times. You can clamp it down if you really need a straight cut on it. I usually just do it by eye because if I'm going to be siliconing this into a tank, a glass tank, the silicone will fill in the gaps anyway. Now I don't really recommend doing this if you need it to be watertight. You should probably use a router or like a table saw or something like that to cut it. But for simple quick cuts, this is pretty simple and straightforward. So I like to just make a couple of my initial cuts like that. Then I run it through a few more times, just dragging it. That sound is normal. You're going to get little tufts like this. That's what you want. You want it to be one continuous piece so there's not any grooves in it. So just a handful of times usually is enough. And all it's doing is cutting an etch into it. It's not a thick one, it's just a scratch. And a straight one. So after you're done doing that, you just put the cut on the corner and push down evenly and not even hard, and it'll snap. That's it. Now you can use that for a baffle, or, well, I'm not going to use that, but just scrap. But that's how you're cutting it. Now they just call this an acrylic cutting tool. Depending on who makes it, it'll have a different name to it, but just ask for an acrylic cutting tool and this is what it looks like. It's great to have in your collection of tools for little projects like this. Anyways, that's the video, and I hope you enjoy it and do this on your own. Hey everybody, Joey here again and welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to add sand to your aquarium. Some important things to know when you're adding sand to your aquarium is first you need to clean it and how to add it into the tank properly. So that's what I'm going to show you. The supplies you need are simple. You need a water source, you should be able to
On the long and winding road of robotics research, scientists now believe that if tomorrow's robots are going to share our world with us,
I'm using pool filtration.
they will have to have something extra.
Why I use this is for a number of reasons. It's cheap, commonly
An
available,
emotional and psychological dimension to help them communicate and respond in ways people can understand.
What I mean by grain size is the medium-sized
An ability to look you in the eye and smile.
The importance of the sand and the size of it is pretty important in your aquarium. Number one,
At Tokyo Science University,
doesn't
Hiroshi
have a tendency to
Kobayashi
clump up
believes
or
that for
compact
friendly
when
interchange
you're
between
wearing it.
people and robots,
It's still a good
an
size
expressive
sand to
face
allow,
is a
water
necessity.
flow through it as well.
With
Not to
small
mention
cameras
price.
in
It's
its
only about
eyeballs
$10, $8
and
to
latex
$10
skin
for about
moved by wires
40
that
pounds.
contract like muscles, this robot is being
So, a
built
lot
to
of good
recognize
things. It
human
also has a nice
expressions
natural look to it.
and mimic
It's
them.
inert, meaning it doesn't have an impact on your water quality or perimeters.
Most
It's
robots
safe
today are
for
no more
most
alive
fish,
than a pile of wires.
including stingrays and bottom dwellers like that. It doesn't have sharp edges.
And yet when
It's
we
not
witness their
like
expressions
anything
and
that's
see them
like a
respond to the
fish.
world, we begin to
So,
glimpse what they
get
may
started
one
by
day
taking a
become.
closer look at the actual sand and how to clean it.
At Waseda University,
Okay, so here's the
Atsuo
sand.
Takanishi is
See, it
taking
simply
human
says
sensitivity
swimming
one step
filtration
further.
sand.
He's creating a robotic head
Says
that can
it's
actually
commercial,
respond to
residential
sensory
swimming
information,
pools, the sand
to
filters,
light,
that
sound,
sort of thing.
touch, even to smell.
Anyways, the look of it is an off-white color, more of a beige, and a nice grain size. Let's have a close look here. You can see that. Okay, so as you can see, it's a great grain size for your tank. Nice natural look to it. One downside to using sand in your tank is that it is filthy usually. It's pretty dusty. So we're going to clean it first before we add it into the tank. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, one of the reasons we have several buckets is simple. We rinse and wash a little bit of the sand at a time. We're not looking to get it all done at once. I like to pour about, 10 pounds into the bucket at a time, which is about a quarter of the bag. You see the dust coming off it already. That's what we don't want in the tank. We want to rinse it off. So we start our water up. Just some cold water, it doesn't matter the temperature. All we're doing is filling the bucket up. As you can see, it's pretty dirty. Not compared to most sands though. Pool filtration sand in general is quite clean. But nonetheless, the water is cloudy. Got some particles floating in it. That's what we want to get rid of. As it's filling up, the reason why we're only doing a little bit at a time is because we want to be able to stir it up. Okay, just continue to fill. We'll be done filling in a few moments. Yeah, there's a great shot of the particles floating in it. Obviously the water's still brown and cloudy, which is fine. It's better to do this now than to have it happen in your tank. Your tank water, if we didn't rinse it first, will look just like that. Okay, so the water's at the top. All we're doing now is letting it overflow. Okay, we keep running the water in it until the water runs off clear, which can take a few minutes depending on how dirty the sand was to begin with. But we stir it every once in a while here. And eventually the water will run off clear. You're never going to get it crystal clear at first, but the longer you spend rinsing it, the better. Okay? Now let's say, for example, this is already running off clear. Obviously it's going to take a little bit longer. Okay? All we're going to do is pour the water out. But not the sand. The sand is pretty heavy, so it stays in place while you're dumping the water out. That's basically it. Now this is why we have the other buckets. With the rinse sand, we now dump this into one of the other empty buckets. You get a closer look? Okay. Okay. I'm not done rinsing this, but again, we just want to make sure all the water's out. and not having all the water out is fine. From there, we simply dump it in the bucket. That's pretty much it. So we know now that this sand is rinsed and ready to go. It's ready to be added into the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to rinse all the sand until I have it all done, and then I'll show you how to properly add it to your tank so that you don't create any more issues. So I'll do that now. Okay guys, so we're now ready to add the sand to the aquarium. As you can see, my tank is up and running. There's fish in it. Of course they're hiding. They're a little pissed off at me right now. Reason being is I just took out all the plants and wood and wiped down the tank. What I mean by wiping down the tank is I took a cloth on the inside and wiped off all the algae that was growing, and it clouded the tank up a bit, so they're a little upset with me right now. Obviously, if you're starting with a new aquarium and there is no fish in it, you'll have a bare tank. You can just dump your sand right in and fill your tank up. A lot of us already have aquariums running. We have gravel, you know, different types of substrates in it, and we want to switch to sand. So this is an option for you. What you want to do is take out enough water out of your aquarium so that when you add the sand in, the water that the sand is going to displace is already taken out. The water that the sand is going to displace, is already taken out. Obviously, when you have a tank here and you add sand, it's going to rise. With a sump, it's going to rise in the sump area. I've already taken enough water out of there to accommodate the extra sand I want to add. So, do we just dump it in? Not really. We take a simple Tupperware container, just a small one, you know, nothing too big, and all we're simply going to do, scoop out some of our pre-washed sand, like so, okay, and lower it into the top of the tank. Let it fill up with water, like so, okay, and we're not pouring it in yet, we're not dumping it in yet, not doing anything until we get to the bottom, okay, and pour it out. Okay, this is simply just a lot less stress on your fish. Obviously, it didn't cloud the tank or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and finish getting all the sand in the tank, and then we'll come back, we'll take a look at it, and I'll tell you what to do next. Okay guys, so now I have all of my sand in the tank. As you can see, I'm not really adding a whole lot. I'm just looking to get maybe quarter inch, half inch of sand on the bottom. This is mainly for, you know, aesthetic reasons. I'm not looking for functionality of the sand in terms of growing plants and that sort of thing. I will be doing plants, but I'm going to be doing low light plants and plants that don't need a substrate. You know, like Anubias, Java Fern, Java Moss, that sort of deal. Anyways, next step is smoothing it out. I'm just going to be using a piece of scrap acrylic. You can use anything really. Anything with a flat edge. All we're going to do is take the flat edge of the acrylic to push it out, like so. So like spread it throughout the tank. I'm not looking for perfection at this point. I'm just looking for distribution of the sand throughout the tank. Just like so. That gives me a nice spread of the sand right off the bat. So I can distribute the rest of the sand by hand. So I'm going to do that now. We'll come back and we'll take us to the next step. Okay, so the sand has been evenly distributed amongst the tank. I never like flattened it out or anything like that. Just gave it a more natural look. The background, you probably can't tell in the video, but the background looks far better like this. I'm still having a bit of cloudy water here, so your next step, even though we rinse the tank, you're still going to get some cloudiness. Even though you rinse the sand, you're still going to get some cloudiness. So my next step is to do a big water change. So I'm going to change about 50% of the water, fill it back up, and then we'll have a look and see what the tank looks like then. Okay everybody,
tank is now had its 50% water change. Obviously the water's still a tad bit cloudy. You know, that's to be expected. Don't panic if that's the case with you as well. The water will clear within, you know, a day or two, probably by this evening for me. So yeah, that's start to finish adding sand to your aquarium. Obviously I went with pool filtration sand. It's actually becoming more and more popular in the hobby with time, due to its, you know, its appearance and the benefits of it, including the price only being, you know, $8 to $10 for 40 pounds. That's an amazing price. It's inert, no effect on the water chemistry or perimeters. You know, nice round grains to it, a nice size as well, allowing water to circulate through it. On top of that, it looks great. It looks pretty good. You know, it's not bright white sand, but it's definitely close to it. It's an off-white with a sprinkle of peppered different types of different colored pieces of sand through it, giving it a nice natural look. Obviously, my fish are still hiding over in the corner there. They're still a bit upset at me. You know, I'll apologize to them with a treat later, perhaps. So now all I got left to do is add in my decorations, you know, which was just some Java fern attached to some wood. I'm still not sure what I'm doing with this tank, but this is basically the latest update. I figured I'd show you how I'm doing it. Anyways, thanks for watching. You know, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed to me, please subscribe. You know, as always, it definitely helps me. And if you're not a member, check out my new website, DIYFishkeepers.com. The link is in the description. You know, we're growing fast and lots of discussion going on. So come in, drop by, and have a look. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching.